Welcome to Piedmont Artist Profiles. This is episode number 4 with Matthew Church. Matthew is a solo artist, a singer. He also currently sings with a band called Cue Betrayal, which is a metal band. Pretty badass. You guys should check him out. He's also a amateur or professional. I think he's a professional wrestler. I probably should have clarified that before I cut an intro. Anyway, yeah, he's a professional wrestler, which we don't talk about a whole lot. And going forward, I hope to make that an episode in and of itself because, dude, what those guys do is art, and there's no way around that. And it's pretty amazing and fun at the same time. So we recorded this episode at a coffee shop in Kannapolis, North Carolina, called Wired Coffee Express. It's a really cool little locally owned spot. They got a stage and they have open mics there and bands. You should definitely check them out. They're on Facebook and they got their own website. You can find links to that in the show notes and on the Facebook post. So being that we recorded it on location, there's a little bit of background noise, but I kind of like that ambience, and I think that kind of in a way adds to episodes and gave me the idea that I may do some down the road actually outside, so you can hear the beautiful sounds of nature in addition to whatever artist I'm interviewing. Missed the episode last week. I've been sick. I had some health issues, nothing major, but definitely need some lifestyle changes and get my shit right. So I hope to be able to put one of these out every week. I am having some problems getting schedules to jive with different artists so that we can do that, but I'm going to try to fill the billet, and if nothing else, maybe I'll just at least post something up here with me ranting about the things that I went and saw and did that week, or artists that I'm checking out. Also, I'm still looking for submissions from local artists for music to use, sort of like a theme song or bump music, and then an outro. It could be a unique piece of art, or it could be something that's already in your catalog. If you want to submit something, either you can send me like a Dropbox file, or you can send me a link to your Reverb Nation or SoundCloud, whatever you got going on, and I'll check it out. Send that to snowpeakradio@gmail.com. That's kind of the network that this show is on, although this is our only offering right now. So that's snowpeakradio@gmail.com. I'll take all submissions, beats, poems, whatever you got. I'd love to stay true to the message of this show and use local artists for the bump music. I don't need to be composing music. I do all right. I can make some cool little songs and sounds, but I want to feature you guys. This isn't about me. This is the show about artists. So like most episodes, we're going to start this with a song that Matthew played live there in the coffee shop, and we'll get right into the interview after that. And then we'll probably play a little song at the end. So thanks for listening. Check us out on Facebook. Subscribe. We're on iTunes now. We're on Stitcher, and we're in the Google Play Store. The best way to find us is probably, if you're using a podcast app, would be to search through the iTunes search engine. Yeah, if you're using Beyond Pod or Podcast Addict or whatever you're using on your Android phone, or if you're on Apple, obviously you're using the iTunes Store anyway. So subscribe, like us, all those good things, and tell your friends. Tell your artist friends, tell your fans, tell your mom and them. Anyway, without further ado, man, I feel like I say that every single episode. I need another phrase. So anyway, Matthew Church.
The name of the song is called Standing Tall.
All right.
It's probably the newest one I've wrote here recently. I wrote this a couple weeks ago, and it's about all the media and stuff that's going on, and just everything you read every day. You really can't trust much of anything anymore.
True.
So it's just trying to get through all that and make your own decisions and make your own way without letting media outlets and things, kind of persuade you, because you never know who put that out. So it's about that and a couple other things, So. clouds are twisted, not sure just where to go. Gotta find a way to stay standing tall. As I scream inside to please help me on. Yes, I gotta learn to drink from this life's half-empty cup. As I find my own way of never giving up. Lies made true by media sources kill. Hear me now, hear me now. You can't always believe everything you read as real. Some called friends, oh, they rip me so far down. But the ones I love think those gods they stuck around. So gotta find a way to stay standing tall. As I scream inside, yeah, please help me all. So gotta learn to drink from this life's half-empty cup. Yes, find my own way of never giving up. You will never beat me. You will never beat me down. You will never beat me. You will never beat me down. No, you will never beat me. You will never beat me down. You'll never beat me. You'll never beat me down.
All right, man.
Cool.
That's good.
Yeah.
Inspirational, uplifting.
Yeah, I try not to. I mean, I have enough depressing music, when, because you write about breakups all the time. That's
Right.
kind of what all musicians do. And it's like, oh, feel sorry for me, please, because I got dumped this week. So I try to have something that's not so bad all the time.
Right. So I'm here with Matthew Church, sitting here at Wired Coffee Espresso. Wired. Let's start that over again.
Yeah, Wired Coffee Express right here in Kannapolis, North Carolina.
So obligatory introduction. Who is Matthew Church?
Let's see. Matthew Church is just a small town fellow that is from Salisbury, North Carolina, who just, as a young age, decided not to be like everybody else and kind of do my own thing. So I dress differently. I try to do the music scene because that's just what worked for me. And that's a really good question. I'm a lot of different things. I think all around I'm a performer.
Right.
That's where I feel most comfortable, is when I'm in front of people, inspiring them with some type of emotion, whether that be through acting or pro wrestling, or through music, or with my band, or however it may be, maybe just even a motivational speech or something.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I'm a performer. That's what I would go with.
What would be the first art form you undertook? Was it music first? Was it speaking? Was it wrestling?
The first thing was in kindergarten. art was the only thing I was any good at. I wasn't a math technician, so it's like, oh, I can paint and make a good grade. I think I'll stick with this. But as I moved on and got a little older, and women became interesting, and the way to get to them was to learn how to play an instrument.
So you found your muse.
Yeah, I kind of found my thing through that, and that ended up working out good for me. So
awesome. So the wrestling thing fascinates me. And you actually posted something up on your Facebook page concerning the Joey Logano Kyle Busch fight, and I thought it was an interesting take from a guy who comes from wrestling, because I come from NASCAR.
Okay. That's right. Yeah, I've heard in the last interview you worked for NASCAR. It's an interesting job.
Well, not for them, but for several teams as a mechanic and a gas man and all those kinds of things. So I wonder. I think there's such a crossover between pro wrestling and the demographic it speaks to anyway. I mean, it's just, they're both Southern things.
Oh, yeah.
Do you think that NASCAR could bring more fans back if they'd introduce a little bit of drama?
Absolutely.
Promote, this is the bad boy. So you have the heel.
What is UFC right now? UFC is pro wrestling from the 60s.
Right.
They believe it because that's how they're selling it, is real. That's what wrestling used to do before the big secret came out,
Right.
It's the exact same thing. So, yeah, I think it would help. I mean, NASCAR's already made a couple rule changes. My son's a fan, and he was telling me how they're putting it in the segments now, not just one long race, to try to bring back some of the audience, because they've been losing ratings. And that's what it clicked in my head when I saw the fight. I was like, this is just another ploy to bring in more ratings.
Well, it's perfect.
And it's working. I mean, it's all over social media and stuff right now, and people are sharing it, and the word's getting out that things are going on. So it's working. So.
But Jeff Gluck's video, the one that got out there the most, and he's a kind of a privately run reporter. He used to work for a big company. Now he's independent. But man, his video got 1 million views overnight.
Holy cow!
It went from when he posted it, 10 minutes after he posted it, had 1,000 views. Overnight, it had 1 million. I was like, man, the power of NASCAR.
Yeah.
And then you put some drama in it. So
yeah, I mean, it's like me. I'm not really into NASCAR, but I posted a video that was about NASCAR. I haven't done that ever.
Yeah.
So it's working.
It's what they need to do. This isn't a NASCAR show, so we'll get off of that anyway.
That's okay.
So musically, who would you say your biggest influences are or were?
I would probably have to go with I started out with just what was popular at the time, at the age that I got into it. And early it was TLC. It was the first album I ever bought, or back then it was a tape for you young people. I got a tape of that, and then I moved on to like Godsmack and Disturbed and bands like that. And then I started finding some lighter stuff and got into Ozzy Osbourne and Tom Petty, and now I listen to a little bit of everything. Right. I actually love about everything.
That's a big leap from TLC.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, and now I'm going through a point in my life where I really love Motown.
Right.
I don't know why, but I'm digging the Motown kind of stuff.
It's good music.
It really is.
It's kind of like, all your tastes, as you get older, you find these things like, man, I used to hate dill pickles, but they're so amazing now that I'm older.
It's like, as a kid, I remember in middle school, somebody wearing a Garth Brooks shirt. I remember laughing at them. I was like, oh, you listen to hillbilly music. Garth Brooks. And now here I am, like, just blasting some Brooks on my radio as soon as I can. I love, some of the Garth Brooks stuff.
Well, I think music at different points in your life speaks to you differently. Like I had my background is punk rock and hip hop, so I had my Sex Pistols phase, but then there's my Alice in Chains days because I was sad or whatever.
Alice in Chains,
so you take this roller coaster ride through life of music. Like right now, I'm real heavy in reggae and dub. And
I didn't like the dubstep stuff at first, but it's starting to come around to me. Like I'm starting to kind of like, oh yeah, like I get it now. Like I didn't get it at first, but I'm starting to get it now.
Yeah. The dub I'm talking about is like Sublime or.
Oh, I think you meant like dubstep
stuff.
Yeah,
no, dubstep got hijacked from us. I don't know when that happened.
Yeah,
but I'm an old fogey too now, so. So right on. So what projects you got? You have recordings out? You selling singles?
I have a CD, or not a CD. I have a single out on iTunes called "You're My Life." That's doing pretty well. Making a little bit of money off of it, but I could always make more. So. For the people listening, go check that out on YouTube, or not YouTube, but iTunes. Just type in my name, and it should be the first thing that comes up. And all the money goes to a good charity, which is me. So.
Feed starving artists.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I got child support to pay, things like that. The regular struggle,
Right. Do you have a daytime job, a regular job?
Not right now. Right now I'm just playing music and being a performer everywhere, and that's what I paid taxes on this year, so I kind of consider that my thing.
That makes you a professional.
Yeah, and that's awesome. I mean, I'm poor, but I'm doing what I like to do. Like, I don't wake up every morning and just despise going to work.
Right.
So that's cool with me. I enjoy that.
I know a lot of people that make a lot of money that hate work.
And they hate going. Yeah. It's like you're a manager, but you're depressed constantly and just don't want to go there. It's like, I don't want to do that with my life.
Right.
It's like, I was telling somebody that the other day. I was like, we have choices. You can choose to be miserable and make a lot of money, or you can kind of choose to do what you want.
Right.
You probably won't make a lot of money, but you might get lucky and you do. But I mean, it's just your lifestyle. Like, what do you want in your life? And I choose to have a lot of friends and happiness, and I make up for the less money thing with more friends and popularity. And I enjoy the getting to know everybody and meeting people from all around. It's fun.
Yeah, and money doesn't buy happiness. I don't care what anybody says. It makes you. All it does is provide you with comfort. That's the most money can ever really truly do for you. Is provide you with a sense of comfort.
Somebody was mentioned that to me the other day. They're like, "Yeah, money don't buy happiness," and I was like, "Well, I never got a paycheck that made me depressed."
That's true. Who was? One of those '80s rock band guys was like, "Yeah, money doesn't buy happiness, but it's a short step from the front of my yacht." So maybe it does.
That's probably a Nikki Sixx quote. I about guarantee it.
Yeah, it sounds like him.
Yes.
So did you take lessons, or are you self-taught on instruments?
The instrument thing for me is kind of a funny story. I was 15, and my mother always taught me that no matter what you start, you got to finish. And she made me take martial arts for like 9 years, because when I was little, I wanted to be a Ninja Turtle. I was like, put me in karate, and she's like, I'll do it, but you're gonna have to finish. So I was like, okay. So I had to learn the hard way that when you start something, it's a lot of work to finish it. So when I was 15, I was like, man, I sure would like a drum set in my room. I was thinking that would look cool. Get pictures on MySpace and get a couple girlfriends here and there. And she bought me this drum set, and I didn't realize that drum sets are like $3,000. They're not cheap.
Right.
I was thinking this was just like some little gift, and no, she put a lot of money and effort into it. And she looked at me with that mommy look, like, you better learn to play these things. So I remember I put on the Godsmack's first album, and I just sounded awful for about 8 months, and put some headphones on and drive my neighbors crazy and the whole neighborhood nuts. But after about a year, I actually learned how to play that entire album like perfectly, and that's what started my music. And then I got my confidence up and realized, hey, I'm actually pretty good at this. And you got neighbors coming over saying, hey man, you don't suck as bad as you did 4 months ago, maybe you should stick with it, kind of thing. And that's what kind of started me on the instruments.
So drums were first.
Drums was my first love. I did that everywhere, and I joined a bunch of bands. And when you first start out, you get with bands, and it's like with everybody, you don't get along with this person, you do get along with that person, and you're finding yourself and your own likes, and you're finding everybody else's likes, and you have disagreements, and and then eventually I moved into playing guitar, which I did the same thing. I watched friends very closely, went to open mic, would watch people's fingers just for hours, and then go home and try the same patterns, and then I kind of taught myself how to play everything. I'm pretty sure I play guitar improperly for the most part, but I mean it works for me.
Yeah.
So that's it.
They would say that about Jimi Hendrix too, though. So
yeah, that's true. I mean,
it's kind of weird when people have this narrow vision of how you use an instrument. If you've never had Les Claypool, look what he does with a bass. So,
yeah. That's true. I mean, a true musician doesn't play everything exactly like somebody else. They make their own way,
right.
And that's, to me, that's what makes you unique and different and makes you special. Don't just go copy something else. You got to do your own thing. I mean, even if doing like a cover song. I mean, I do a lot of cover songs, but I don't play them nothing like the original. I do it my own way. Half because I don't know how to play it the original way, and the other half is because you got to put your own spin on it to make it work.
Right.
Because you're not going to sound like Billy Joe from Green Day, and you got to sound like you doing Billy Joe's song.
Yeah,
that's the way to do it.
Which sometimes produces the best versions of songs.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah, I mean, I heard a cover on the radio the other day that was absolutely terrible, and they should probably never do that again. And then I've heard some that were way better than the original. You're like,
right?
Wow, man, they made that song great.
Yeah,
I mean, so.
Let's see. So you were also not only a solo act and a professional wrestler, but you were a part of a metal band. What's the metal band called?
The metal band that I'm in right now goes by the name of Key of Betrayal. We're actually playing the night in Hickory, but I know this won't be heard till next week or so it doesn't matter. But we got a couple shows coming up. You can look us up on Facebook and keep up with where we're playing at. You can also look up my Facebook. I mean, I'm constantly plugging different things, but I had some guys hit me up about a year ago, and they're like, hey man, we're looking for a clean vocalist. We need somebody that can do cleans, and we got a guy that does the screamo stuff, and we want to do a good mix. We want to have like some aggressive lyrics, and we want to have some real pretty lyrics on top of it to kind of bring in a broader audience. And I mean, these dudes, Tyler May was one of the main guys, and Chad and all of them was talking to me about what they seen the audience be in, and how they want to get a broader audience. And I'm just like, these guys sound like professionals. They're not this some like little garage kids who are just now learning how to play and don't know what they're really doing. These guys have done their research, and they're serious. So it's like, yeah, I'll give it a try. And I listened to the first couple tracks, and I was like, oh my God, this music's so heavy, it's just not for me. I don't think this is gonna work. But then I started reading the words and the parts they wanted me to do, and I was like, wow, these songs are really good, and they're like, yeah, it's about this and that. And like, even the guy screaming, Chad, give him a little prop here, he doesn't just scream like random stuff like we see all the time. He's actually saying words. Like, I've listened to him, and the more I listen to him, I hear him pronouncing things. And the other guy, Tyler's yelling at him about, make sure you pronunciate the A and da da da. I mean, they're like really serious about this stuff. So I'm like, wow, this is good stuff. And I started listening to the songs, and the songs made a lot of sense. And then I got to get on stage with them. We played at like Amos's South End, which is unfortunately closed down now. It's very sad. That's
terrible.
But we started playing places like that, these bigger places, and the energy from the crowd is just unbeatable. Like, I'm like, I cannot give this up. No way. Like, I'm definitely gonna stick with this band and see what happens, just for the pure fun of performing with such a high energy and high level, and you got people that are jumping into each other and willing to catch you, and if you throw something out in the audience, they'll probably throw it back. It's just like that energy is, I mean, I'd probably play for free with them forever, just because they're great guys, and the music that they write is actually very good music. So
what's the plan with them? Albums, touring?
Right now we've got some like demo tracks out, which I'll probably end up playing one here with you later. We're going to go we're talking about going to Nashville. We're arguing about if we should go to Nashville or Charlotte. I say Charlotte, they say we should go out to Nashville, but either way, there's great studios all over. We're going to definitely put an album together here probably the next year, I would think, because we've already got 7 or 8 songs together that we feel comfortable with, and we're already playing out places. We're opening up for some national touring acts and stuff as it is, so we're definitely ready to start selling albums and stuff besides what we got on. I mean, we got stuff online, but that's not the same. It's always good to have a good finished product that's been, processed and cleaned up by a professional that hears it differently than we do. So.
There was a debate or a discussion I had with a friend of mine who's the lead singer of a band. Was in this day and age, how important is the LP? How important is the whole body? And he argues strongly that it's a whole body of work, and that's more important than the single, because the single, it doesn't have its own legs without the rest of the body of work.
I kind of agree with that.
Yeah.
I mean, absolutely, because I mean, it's something as simple as image. If you all look like bums and you come to the show looking like bums, no one's going to take you serious.
Right.
If your equipment's crap, you're going to sound like crap. I mean, you have to work a regular job. You have to treat the band like a regular job. You're going to have to invest your time. You're going to have to invest your money. If you're not willing to do all the hard work and kind of know in the back of your head that you might get nothing for it, then you're not in the right thing.
Yeah.
That's not going to work for you. You know what I mean? That's not the way that works. But I think it's all about image and how hard you're willing to work for it. The music is a big thing, but not completely.
No. It's a business, and that's kind of what I'm learning.
Yeah, there's a lot of extremely talented people that play on the street.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of really untalented people that play on the stage.
Yeah, that's a true story.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that can sing some sheet music really well that if you gave them a pen, they'd have no clue how to fill those words out.
Yeah, not an idea.
Yeah. That's interesting. I spent 4 or 5 years living in New Orleans, and I just remember the caliber of street musician. And
I went up there for a Mardi Gras one year, as everybody should. If you've never been, you should need to go. And it was the food oh my God.
Yeah.
Like, there is no food around here that even comes close.
It's an amazing
to New
special
Orleans
city.
food, yeah.
I just went there a little while back, and it was hard for me because I left post Katrina, and so I hadn't been back since. And I'm looking at what they didn't rebuild and what they did rebuild. I'm like, oh.
I went like 2 years after the Katrina thing, and it was I ended up writing about some of it because, I mean, when you're partying and everyone's having fun, and you look over at this house that's right beside you, and it's got like an X on it,
Right.
and a number, and you know what that number is, you know what I mean? And that's just so, it's like, these people, like, you know, it's different when you see it on TV, and yeah, you feel sorry for them and stuff, but when you go there and you see a watermark on a whole street, and you realize, like, this was all, like, you know, it's just a different feel when you see it.
Yeah.
And you see the hurt and stuff that people had to go through and what they lost and everything, and then they're partying, trying their best to just
They're
get over it.
resilient people.
Yeah, resilient. You know, it's just like, hey, man, this happened, but we're not gonna let that own us. You know, we're gonna move on, and it's like, that was inspiring. It was very cool.
It is the parts that have rebuilt, and then the fact that the music scene has stayed so strong there and together.
Oh,
I mean, it's a lot of transplants, but
I remember there was a drum set there because, you know, I play drums too, but there was a percussion set there that somebody had made out of like 50 different trash cans, and they had cut different size holes in the trash cans to get different tones, and had it on a big metal rack, and was walking down the street playing this thing. I mean, this thing sounded like it belonged in the parade at Walt Disney. I'm just like, wow, you know, these people make nothing and turn it into something beautiful.
So resourceful.
Yeah, I love that, you know.
Yeah, it's a great city, man. So what do you got coming up? What you got? Any gigs coming up you can plug?
Yeah, let me check my little schedule deal here. I know I've got one actually coming up here at the Wired Coffee Shop with Shane Maynor, who you've done an interview with, and with Daniel. They do this thing where they raise money for like a homeless charity, and they do it through the open mic. You just come in here and you donate whatever you like, and I always try to come and support that. They got me as one of the feature artists for this particular one. And I always love to come and support that because it's for a good cause.
Right.
And it helps Shane and Daniel and them out. And
They
Shane
do great
is
work.
great people, and that's going to be on the 23rd. Yeah, 323
Right.
Coffee
The
Express.
open mic,
With
yep.
the Gorilla Poets.
The Gorilla Poets,
These
friends of
guys
the
are
show.
Awesome. Let's see here. On the 3rd, 4-3, I'll be playing another place here in Kannapolis called Sunshines. That's also an open mic deal. You're welcome to come out and play with me. I like to play with people that I've never...
Yeah.
Like, there's one thing that you can play a song that you've rehearsed at home and da-da-da. Like, yeah, that's really cool. But it's another thing to say, hey, you know, my name's Bob. I've never met you before. What do you play? I play bass. Well, why don't you come play a couple chords with me? And then you just have this magic that can happen on stage. And that's creating a moment that you'll never be able to get back. You know, it might be terrible, you know, but it's still creating a moment and, and an emotion with somebody that you'll never be able to get back. And that's worth more than any money and things like that. I love just playing with random people and doing random things. And that's the reason I go to a lot of the open mics and host a lot of them.
That's the best part of open mics to me is the collaborations and it's just a jam session, which anyone that plays an instrument is, man, that's the funnest part of playing music is just jamming.
Exactly.
Just spitting around. And
I've got a lot of gigs coming up, but I can't, you know, I don't spit them all out. Just check me out on Reverb Nation. Matthew Church at reverbnation.com, and I've got all my stuff there. Only thing that's not there is my wrestling stuff. And if you're into watching me get beat up, you can check that out on Facebook. You just
we're
keep
all
up with me
interested in
yeah,
that.
just keep up with that, and then that'll tell you how that works.
I'm feeling doing a show about the wrestling because that's an art too. So
I can easily get, you know, some pretty big names that come talk to you. I've worked with Mick Foley, a lot of big name guys.
Nice.
And I've met a lot of them that are into music too. And somebody asked me that one day. They were like, you know, what is the connection with wrestling and music? Because it seems like all the wrestlers are into music, and all the musicians want to be like, you know, wrestlers. You get Chris Jericho, for example.
Right.
He's in WWE. He's also in a Fozzy, which is a great touring act. But I was like, I think it's the same thing. And they're like, no, it's not. You know, I said, no, it's the same thing. Like, the guys get in the ring and they're performing a show to initiate a reaction from the audience. That's the whole reason they're there, is to make that audience sad, to make that audience happy, you know, whatever they can get out of them. Same thing going to see in a movie. Same thing for a musician. You know, you're putting on your show because you want to bring on an emotion from that audience. You know, you write a song about a particular subject because you want to get an emotion out of somebody. So it's the same thing. It's a performance art. It's just a different stage.
Yeah.
You know, one stage don't have ropes around it, another one does. But at the end of the day, it's the same kind of show. And now that I've done both, you know, I've been a professional wrestler for about 6 years now with my tag partner, Richard. We're called the Awesome Alliance. We're the ultimate good guys because we grew up in the 80s, like worshiping Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
You know? We actually believed in the say your prayers, eat your vitamins, brother. You know? That was totally the lifestyle. You know, we didn't realize he was doing a lot of other things to stay that hyper. But anyway, you learn that as you get older.
It was the 80s, man.
It's like everybody did it. You know?
Right on, man. So at the outro of this, I'm going to bring in a MP3 of yours. You want to introduce the song?
Oh, yeah. I went through the band songs, and we got a pretty good little bit of them I had to go through. The song I chose to do is called Blessed and Damned. You know, earlier I was talking about breakup songs, and this is definitely one of those kind of like girlfriend ripped your heart out kind of deal. This song is called Blessed and Damned, and it's by Kia Betrayal.
But you're really high. Halo around your head is a nuisance dead. What difference does it make when our love's already died? And I'll find relief and peace when I'm done waiting for you. Waiting for you. Till I die, you'll always be the one who's blessed and blessed.
Only do that a couple times. All right, you can check out Matthew Church on the 23rd at One Mic Stand with Gorilla Poets at Wired Coffee Express in Kannapolis. I'm sure you'll see Daniel Gurley and Shane Mania, the whole crew out there. You'll also catch him on the 3rd of April at Sunshine's, also in Kannapolis. And then again at April 29th, he'll be with this band, Kia Betrayal, at the Somewhere Tavern in Greensboro, North Carolina. Also, go check out Gorilla Poets. They're at the Last Word this week on the 25th. And then also on the 25th at Old Town Public House in Cornelius, you can catch the Hawthorns, a great local group, playing a lot of original songs. Only a couple covers these days. You can catch me there. I'll be in a bar stool somewhere in the back. Peace.